This is for you, Milton. Cheers to you for how you handled this conversation at the end. Cheers to you, good sir, because you handled that so perfectly that it caused Lydia to get even more upset. Also, why y'all not calling Izzy a gold digger? If the roles were reversed and Izzy was the one with his stuff together in the house and the two Benzes and he flew first class and was well traveled, and Stacy was coming in really with next to nothing, not ceramic plate to one. If that was her, y'all would be calling her a gold digger. Y'all are calling her materialistic because Izzy don't have no materials. Jesus. All right, y'all. Love is Blind, Season 5, Episode 9. If you have not already, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. As always, hop into the comment section. So this episode just goes to show why we have to have more than two couples. But it starts off with Stacy and Izzy going to get their marriage license. And then we also see Milton and Lydia get theirs as well. That's how y'all know they scraping for stuff to film. We have never seen any of these people go get their marriage license. Never. But y'all know, I mean, it really kind of makes me feel like they should have just really kept the Renee and what's his name? Colton? I don't know what his name was, but the bar guy that we keep seeing. They should have kept Renee and him and old boy on the show, and then we could have just watched them implode when she got married to her real boyfriend and not to the guy on the show. That would have been more entertaining to watch. But here we are. We get the dress and tuck shopping again. Because we're only looking at two people, it's nothing really happened. I didn't even take screenshots of like the scenes because nothing really happened. They're excited. Lydia and Stacy didn't like their dresses initially. Then they found some dresses they like. Like, it was just, the biggest thing we got is that Milton prides himself on not having a filter, which I kind of question people that are super proud of the fact that they don't have a filter. It's not the flex that y'all think it is. You should know how to filter yourself when dealing with anybody. There is nothing to brag about where you just have no regard for anybody else's feelings or whatever the case. And I kind of feel like that was it. Izzy said that he's super sure about Stacy, and his biggest worry is if she's going to say yes or not. Because he want to move into that house. He want to get out that Airbnb that he's living in without the nightstand. And, he probably tired of eating off of paper plates. You can't eat everything off a paper plate. As much as y'all played in the comments. As much as y'all played in the comments, I had somebody say that they don't like washing dishes so much, they were throwing the damn plates away because they didn't want to wash them. I need y'all to stop trying to do the acrobats to defend Izzy. Stop it. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. But let's get into the notes that I do have, okay? So, first things first, Izzy takes Stacy on a date. So, because she likes flying private, it would be enjoyable for her to fly private. She likes flying first class. Some of y'all are calling that materialistic. I think some of y'all don't know what materialistic is. If you have the money and the means and you have been flying first class for X amount of years, how is that materialistic? How? That is a standard that you have. Y'all, I don't think y'all know what materialistic is. Her wanting ceramic plates and glass plates in her 30s is not materialistic. Materialistic would be if Stacy was telling him, okay, so if you buy me a purse, it needs to be this. It needs to be a Louis. If you're going to buy me shoes, it needs to be this. If you're going to do that, it needs to be this. That would be materialistic. Her saying, I like to travel, and when I travel, I want the finest of accommodations. It's not materialistic. It gives y'all don't know how to travel. But nonetheless, so he takes her to this place that has really cool private planes, and they take like a private plane ride over the city. I guess y'all gonna call that materialistic too, when anybody can literally go and take like a helicopter ride. But they do that. She loved it. It was a great surprise. She's not expecting these things to happen all the time, but every once in a while, yes. Why? Because Izzy set the precedent in the pods that he was this extremely, extremely romantic guy, and this is the type of stuff that he does. So when you come in with all that lip service, you have to at some point back it up. At some point. So they then have dinner in the hangar. And Stacy is saying how calming he is to her. That, even when things are going crazy and they're going back and forth, he just has a very calming spirit. And I said, girl, what? That man is a ticking time bomb. What part of him forever having the Arthur fist and getting red in the face like the little red emoji? Like, what part? Nothing about Izzy seems calming. I'm sorry. Nothing about that man seems calming. Who, girl? What kind of chaotic energy is up inside of you, Stacy? So he thought that he would never fall in love again. He said that he was avoiding love, but he is now madly in love with her. I said, all right. So he feels welcomed by her family. She was like, they love you. And they, a lot of that is in part to how I talk about you. I talk only good things about you. So that's what they're receiving. My family welcomes you. He says that, I didn't invite a good chunk of my family. He said because he doesn't want people there basically that are not going to support him doing this process. And by all means, if you feel that people are not going to be there in your best interest to support you, don't invite them. Very simple stuff there. So he feels that his dream is coming true of getting to have a family because she has this loud, very close-knit family. All right. And then they dance the night away in the hangar. Okay. So then we get to Milton is out with his sister Jessica for lunch. He said that it's hard to join their family. What it looks like is their family is probably very affluent and they just are not going to settle for mediocrity. You can tell by the way his mother speaks, the way his father speaks. His parents are extremely educated. Milton is extremely educated himself, and so is his sister. And so they are expecting their children to bring somebody into the fold that has a standard of higher education or just a standard for themselves, right? So he said that her family is more emotional and giving. So his family may not be the warmest. You know what I mean? Like they may not be the type of family. I don't know. I thought they seemed warm enough, but I don't know them people. But he feels that his family is just not as emotional and giving as Lydia's. So his sister is asking him, why are you doing this? How do you know you're ready? And he was like, I don't know, just the gut feeling. Milton does not like to talk about his emotions, is what I'm getting. He doesn't want to talk about what he's feeling. He doesn't want to answer hard questions. And because he doesn't want to answer these hard questions, we end up with these scenarios where it looks like he doesn't care or he comes across very, very apathetic. So his sister asks, how do y'all plan to parent? How are y'all going to do this? How are y'all going to merge the families? This is why we are, typically a part of like your bigger decisions. And I said, oh, girl, that's a grown ass man. You might be a part of his, planning or decision making process when it comes to what college he's going to go to, or differentiating between two different apartments, or getting your opinion on a car. But you're not going to be a part of his wife picking decision. You're just not. So she wants to know if Milton and Lydia have had all the big and important conversations. And he said that they have. I don't think they have, but he said they have. He also then tells his sister, she's gonna take my last name. I think it's Johnson. And he was like, it's mandatory, no ifs, ands, or buts. And he does not believe in hyphenating it. So she wants to hyphenate that last name. Not gonna happen over here because Milton feels that no sir. Or no ma'am, I should say. I said, all right. Okay. So we get Izzy and Stacy. They're packing, they get married in 2 days. So they're packing up and It's tense. And Izzy is like his suitcase looked a mess. Fold them clothes up and maybe it'll close up a little better. And it's very tense. And she said, I just don't know if I can trust you. And I said, Lord. So apparently, this is what I got because we don't get the root of the conversation. Apparently, Stacy has been asking him, why don't you use your credit card for this? You get the points, whatever the case. I tell people all the time, use your credit card when you're getting gas because you get those points, right? So I guess it came out they were getting gas, and he always just said that he just doesn't have credit cards. He had them in college. He got rid of them. When what it sounds like, based on how they talked about it, is that he might have had some cards. Maybe he went into default on the cards and he lost the cards. His credit tanked. He does not qualify for a credit card. That's what it sounded like. I could be wrong. That's what I gathered from it. Her issue is not that he does not have the cards because of his credit. Her issue is that he lied about it. So instead of being honest and saying, you know what, I used to have a Discover card. I missed some payments. I fell on some bad times. It got too big. It became a debt. I defaulted on the card. They closed the card. I just never went back and got one. I don't have the best credit right now to get one. I feel like credit is one of those things that if somebody decides that they do not want to marry you because of your credit score or because of the amount of debt that you have, I feel that is acceptable. If somebody has an 800 plus credit score and they don't want to marry somebody whose credit score is in the 500s, they are well within their rights to feel that way. Because in certain states, your debts become joined and combined when you get married. So if Stacy is kind of leery on him because of his credit, then I feel like she's well within her rights. She said a couple episodes ago that, her family has gone through ups and downs when it comes to finances. So she is probably a person that is really a stickler on her finances. Y'all are calling her materialistic, but somebody that's really, well, whatever. So she's asking him, why didn't he ever bring it up? He said he wanted the conversation to be very formal and said that it felt like they needed to sit down and have this conversation very formal. And he was like, she would always bring it up, on a whim, while we're cooking or something like that. So she said, so when we were getting gas, and I asked you about your credit card and you said no, you didn't think that would be the time to be like, yeah, I don't have one because this, XYZ happened in the past. And he was like, no, never crossed my mind. She said, I feel like when I ask you something, you ramble and skirt around the actual answer instead of just answering truthfully. And I'm glad she said that because he does. And he's like, yeah, sometimes I do ramble. And it's, I do ramble, but it's because I have to walk in eggshells around you because I don't want you to leave me. I said, don't you start that crying and shit, Izzy. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And she falls for it. Lord have mercy. Stacy, girl, you about to be on your own. I promise you, if Stacy says yes on decision marriage day, whatever they want to call it, at the altar, Stacy deserves everything that comes to her. This man is showing you time and time and time again what type of shit he is on. Lying about the fact that you don't have a credit card to the woman you're going to be married to, where your finances are going to be combined. She needs to know that. No wonder you want to throw both cards on the table and split it. You don't have no fucking money. You're in debt. But then he turns around and says, it wasn't even that much debt. It was just like $3,500 or something. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. There's no way. There's no way. No. Izzy is lying about his finances. Izzy is lying about this credit situation. Be honest with her. I got a bunch of credit cards in college. I fucked it all up. I didn't have financial intelligence. Nobody told me and taught me how to be fiscally responsible. Some people's parents don't. It's not a course in high school. It's not a course in college, not for real, for real. It's not a mandatory course. There are a lot of people that are financially illiterate because they just don't know. It's nothing to judge people for, but for you to lie about it is the issue. So she now feels, how am I going to trust what you're saying about this now when you lied? His thing is, well, I just want to know that you have my back. I said, oh, girl. And she falls for it. And I said, you know what, Stacy? When y'all are broke and homeless in a couple years, I don't want to hear shit about it. Don't go talk to people. Don't go talk to E! News. Don't go talk to Entertainment Tonight. Next year, when After the Altar comes out, and y'all are broke up, and he done ran through your money, I don't want to hear shit about it. This man is showing you who he is right now. You don't know the truth about his finances 2 days before the wedding. What part of that makes sense? This man about to move into your house and he can't be honest about his finances. If you broke, you broke. Tell her. If you are broke, you're broke. At this point, tell her. She falls for the shit though. But y'all aren't calling him a gold digger. Y'all aren't flipping it, because if the roles were reversed, y'all would call Stacy everything under the sun. Y'all are dragging her now, calling her materialistic because she got her shit together and he doesn't. I am confusion, y'all. So then finally we get Lydia and Milton. This argument here. So they go to, I don't know the building they were in, but they go to look at rocks and minerals. It was very pretty. I would actually like to go to a place like that. Y'all, please respectfully let me know where they were. Were they just at a museum? They went somewhere. And they end up having a little dinner date in there. And he tells her, she asks him, so you never had any idea on what you wanted in a wife? And he was like, well, yeah, but it's different. He tells her, you are very different outside the pods that you were in. And she was like, how? He said, well, you wake up upset. She was like, because you made me upset. He said, how I make you upset if you just woke up 30 seconds ago? So then she was like, because you never acknowledge what you do to me. You did something to me. She then said that he leaves food by his table, clothes all over, and she's tired of repeating herself about him to pick up after himself and clean up. She feels he's not taking it serious. Here's the thing though, Lydia. Here's the thing. And I'm not giving an excuse for age, okay? But I feel like that is something that y'all need to sit down and have a conversation about. Find a way to make it stick. Leave the damn plate there when y'all get roaches and pests and everything else, and ants. I bet his ass clean it up there. If he wants to leave clothes and towels and shit all over, leave every towel on the floor. When he don't have nothing to dry that body off with when he gets out the shower, when he doesn't have a clean towel, I bet he'll realize it then. But I feel like Lydia talks to him like he is a child, too. She talks to him like he is her son. So he is responding as if he is her son. So she feels he doesn't take her serious. He feels that he cannot be honest with her because she's always so emotional. And that's where, dun, 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 that's where this comes in. He said he's worried that she is going to take everything the wrong way. And she does. She does. I feel like, hold that thought. I'm going to get there. So he then goes back and says that he does not like the way she handled the thing with Uche. And I don't know if I even said it last recap. I think I forgot to say it. It was in my notes. Milton was more bothered than he let on. He was bothered in that entire scene, but he was able to keep it cool and play it chill. So she is offended because she thought she handled it great. Girl, what? You thought you handled this great? What part of the Uche situation did you think you handled great? So she was like, because I left twice. He said, you should have left one time. You should have left once. He said, handling it great is not you leaving and going back. And I agree with him on that. The first time Lydia got up and walked away, you should have stayed gone. Lydia, you didn't handle that the greatest. You didn't. You didn't handle it the greatest. So she would say, well, I'm sorry, you don't have emotions. He feels that he should be allowed to have an opinion on something. And I agree. I agree. Because it's not that this is something that you're recanting to him and you just really want him to sit and vent and listen to. This is something that he was there for and he witnessed. So if he can't have an opinion on something, how are y'all going to move forward? But see, Lydia is the person, this is the vibe that she gives off, that what she wants, how she feels that things should be handled and how she wants to deal with things, he just kind of needs to be okay with. And if he's not okay with it, then he is kind of in the wrong. And I just don't think that's fair. To me, at least. So she gets mad basically that he's not on her side. So he feels that she gets defensive and does not listen to him. And she was like, so you don't think I listen? And he was like, no. When I try to voice an opinion on how I feel that you handle something or how I feel that you could have done something a little different or a little better, you get defensive. And Lydia does. Lydia gets very, very defensive when it comes to everything. So he says, look, I don't like arguments. I don't like disagreements. And she was like, do you think that I do? And he said, I don't know. And I said, I don't know either, Lydia. I don't know either. When you see somebody that is constantly arguing, constantly turning everything into an argument, yeah, I feel like you like to argue. You like to have disagreements. So Milton then said that he said that when people disrespect him, I show them who the fuck I am through my actions, through how I carry myself. I don't get loud and yell and scream at them because what does that prove? How is that helping your life? What does that get you in life? He said it's not always about protecting your respect. And I like that because I think so many times when people feel disrespected, right, that our immediate reaction is to make that person respect us. Show this person why you should respect me. And when Milton said that you don't have to protect your respect all the time, I said, hey, I'm gonna sit with that. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna sit with that because I really like that. Like really, really like that. So sorry, that train is out. Okay. So he then brings up that he doesn't want their kids to grow up and let people affect their energy in that way. So then Lydia said, well, I didn't get loud. I didn't cuss at Uche or do anything like that. And then he was like, and she was like, no, I was just telling you that he was a shitty person. He's this, that, and the other. And by the way, he is. And Milton was like, thank you for telling me for the millionth time. She gets offended by that and she walks away. I felt Milton in this moment, y'all. And this is why. What purpose did it have for you to say, and by the way, he is in this moment? Because the conversation isn't that Milton is taking up for Uche. Milton is literally saying, I wish in that situation you weren't doing all the cussing and screaming and you would have handled yourself better. So for Lydia came back and said, I didn't cuss at him, which I don't remember. Y'all let me know down below if she did or not. But she was like, I was just venting to you. There was no reason to say, and by the way, he is. Lydia and Uche still like each other. They have unresolved business. They have unresolved issues that they really need to get a hold on. So she gets, her feelings are hurt. She walks away. She goes over to the side and she's like crying, getting herself together. And he continues to sit there and eat his food. She thought he was going to chase after her and he did not. I think anytime people get up and walk away, they are expecting people to chase after them. And when they don't, they look silly coming back. So she comes back. He apologizes to her if he hurt her feelings and said that he was giving her an example of when he just did not feel comfortable. She said, "Well, I'm sorry that you don't do the things. I'm sorry that I don't do things like you like, but this is me. I'm loud and I'm passionate." But see, here's the thing. Lydia likes to make excuses for her brazen behavior, right? We've heard her so many times say, "But I'm Puerto Rican and we're loud and that's just how we are." That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Because you can still be Puerto Rican and you can still be a passionate person without getting loud and doing all the extra stuff that Lydia does. And I hate when people fall into that. Well, that's just how they are. That's just how they are. So we accept it. It's not okay. Uche sat there and gaslit. Yes, he gaslit her, right? But at the same token, Uche sat there very calmly. He didn't raise his voice. Meanwhile, she was doing all the jumping up and yelling and screaming and running back and forth, tripped over the chair and all this other stuff. You did a lot. We're not going to just yoke that up to you being a passionate person, so we should let that be okay. You have to learn how to control your feelings, manage your emotions, so that you can get your point across, because more people will take you serious when you're not doing the theatrics. If Lydia would have sat there and talked very calmly throughout that conversation with Uche, she might have won more people over. But I'm a person, and a lot of people feel this way, that when somebody accuses you of something, and you get up and you're doing all the running around and loud stuff and all the other type of stuff, it's exuding guilt. It is exuding guilt. That's how I feel about it. So she keeps making these excuses, and then the editing is very weird and choppy because it ends with them holding hands and saying, "We can do it." And then next week we get the weddings. It looks like neither one of them says yes. If you know, please don't put it down below. Please don't put it down below. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video. Let me know down below how you guys felt about everything that happened in this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.